What's up, everybody? Your boy Joey Work from Pure Bets back again. Another week. You know what that means? Another fighter. This week I got the Baltic Gladiator, Modestas Bukauskas. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Nothing much, mate. Just chilling. A nice, relaxed Sunday. All good though. How you doing?
Good, man. Can't complain. Just did a baseball video, but I'm excited to chop it up with you. That's for sure.
Wicked, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. So first off, I definitely want to just say thank you. I appreciate you coming on the show, taking some time out of your day for hanging out with us.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Listen, I enjoy talking. So anytime I get like a little bit of a spare minute through the day just to chat, I'm always down for that.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. So I know a question I normally ask a lot of the fighters. I'm always interested to hear how they got into MMA. So, like, what was the original reason, or how did you originally get into the MMA world?
Just easy answer there is my dad, really. To be honest, because my dad was a fighter back in the day. He was a Soviet Union no holds barred heavyweight champion. So obviously he's a pretty tough MFer, especially if ever he had to ask me to clean my room, there'll be no second guesses, no second chances. I just have to go ahead and do it straight away. So but when I was about 5 years old, he started showing me a couple of techniques. So, oh, here, look at this cool kick, look at this cool move here. And, as a kid, you're thinking, oh, yeah, this is great. And then literally about 2 weeks later, just got real serious. It's like, all right, now we're training hard, dim the lights in the room and everything. And then next thing you know, we're just like smashing pads and yeah. But to be honest, that was sort of, I started competing in kickboxing, but he was teaching me Sambo as well from an early age. And, yeah, that's pretty much where I got my first beginnings, and I pretty much never looked back. It's probably the main thing that I've known pretty much most of my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to mess with your dad. That's for sure.
Definitely wouldn't want a right hand by that dude. I'm telling you that right now. You know what I mean? He may be close to 60, but bloody hell, I've seen him hit the bags and all bare knuckle as well. He used to hit these planks of wood like on the floor. Like there'll be a plank of wood and I don't know if it was like from karate or something, but it would have like a small leather piece and a cushion on it, and he'll just hit it and you just hear like loud banging noises. But the thing is, I looked at that board. The cushion is supposed to be thick. I swear to God, it was like literally like that thin. I'm like, so this guy's literally just smacking straight up a massive block of solid wood. I was like, yeah, well, this is it. I ain't messing around with this guy,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you're definitely still young, but what was the feeling like when you got that first UFC call that you're going to be promoted to the UFC and you're going to get your first fight in the UFC?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my career for sure. I mean, pretty much not just in my career, but in life in general. So, when I had my first two defeats in MMA, a lot of people sort of turned their back on me. I went on a 4-0 win streak, and then I lost 2 in a row, and then everyone sort of said, "Oh yeah, that's it. The hype is over. The guy's done," and no one ever expected me to go far or do anything. So a lot of those particular feelings definitely came up whenever I got the call. I mean, whenever I won the Cage Warriors title and then I defended it, I knew it would be close. Like it was always the next logical step. I'd always, visualize and dreamt about being in the UFC and stuff like, not only being in the UFC, but being, a UFC world champion. So those thoughts were just constantly running through my head. Like I say, even through the good times and the bad times, that was the only thing that was on my mind as soon as I started this career. And it may have took a little bit longer than I would have liked because, I think my pro debut was when I was 21. So I was like really raw, really young then. And then I had like a massive layoff. And then I had to sort of work my way up from being, from the bottom of the heap to the top of the heap. Yeah, pretty much it got to me defending my title. And then after that, I was just really antsy. I just wanted to get back in there. I didn't have no injuries. I was like, oh, come on, like, let me get another fight. And then my manager was like, just be patient. It'll be fine. Like, listen, we're gonna have another chat with the matchmaker. We'll see what happens. But there was nothing like set in stone. So I was like, listen, like, get me to defend my belt another time. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to fight again, or what's the next step that's going to get me closer to the UFC. I was like, really, like I say, I was just a bit impatient. I just wanted to get back in there again. And then it got to like the beginning of the year, and then my manager said, realistically, I mean, you're probably going to be looking at Contender Series. And I said, that's great. That's like my shot. That's my chance to shine. And then And then I think he had another chat, and then next thing you know, because obviously the time difference again, like, you know, I think it's about 8 hours or something. So I woke up at like 3 a.m. for you, you know, your usual wake up in the middle of the night and go and pee. Because I don't know why I seem to like downing bottles of water to the back end of the day instead of, you know, drinking it like a normal person consistently through the day. So I always wake up in the middle of the night, go to the toilet. And then as I came back, I checked my phone, and I saw that I had like 4 missed calls and a message or two from my manager. I've never had that before. But at this point, I'm like, well, you know, nothing's set in stone. I didn't even think nothing of it. I thought, you know, what, maybe he has a sponsorship opportunity or whatever. And then he goes, and then, you know, I called him straight away, and he goes, so, yo, how you doing, man? I'm like, yeah, not doing too bad. I mean, it's quite early in the morning, 3 o'clock, but other than that, you know, all good. And then he goes, how do you feel about fighting in the UFC? And I'm like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, like, so how do you feel about being a UFC fighter? I'm like, no way. Like, I literally, I must have said, like, I can't remember what I said. I think I must have said, like, no way for about, like, probably the next, like, minute or something. I was, like, literally speechless. I was like, wait, are you? And I asked him, like, are you being serious? He's like, yeah, I'm being dead serious. You're in the UFC. Well done. I'm like, oh, my God, no way. It was just, you know, it's an accumulation of all your hard work, like all the struggles, everything put together to finally make it to like the pinnacle of the sport, being in the top, you know, the premier promotion in the world. It wasn't necessarily a surprise because I knew that that was going to be the next logical step for me. That's what I wanted. That's what I knew it was in my sights. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But at the same time, when it finally did happen, it was like it was not only like relief and stuff. And luckily it was like right before the pandemic hit. It was just, I don't know, it was just like joy and like finally, you know, been able to say like I'm a UFC fighter now. Like I proved all these people wrong that were doubting me all this time. And even then, like after I finished the phone call, I talked to him talked to my manager for about an hour. I went to my dad's room to see what he was doing. Well, what could your dad possibly be doing at 4 or 5 in the morning? But you know, luckily he was awake because he's a bit of a night owl. So yeah, I went to his room and I said, Dad, we made it to the UFC, and he had literally he had like the cheesiest grin on his face. You could see it was like a Cheshire cat, like literally smiling from ear to ear. But at the same time, he had the same reaction. He's like, good. Now the hard work starts. I'm like, great. He's like, okay, now we've got to up the training. I was like, oh, well, I thought it was hard already, but you know, I guess I was wrong about that one as well. But yeah, and then it's just it was real, just a sense of pride and joy. But at the same time, we knew that this was just the start of the journey. There's going to be even more challenges set ahead of us, but it was now our time to finally show the world what we're made of. So, and yeah, like I said, anything I've been doing in my life, I've never had it the easy way. But like I say, it's these experiences that make me who I am. So I'm very thankful for all of it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. I'm guessing you didn't go back to sleep.
Oh no. I tried. Trust me, I tried. I tried putting my head on the pillow, turn the lights off. I'm like, nah. And then I literally, as soon as it got to like 7 o'clock, there was an old gym that I used to work at, and I'm very good friends still with the guy who's the manager there. And I literally just went, and because I'm friends with all the clients and everything, I built like a really good relationship with everyone. I just thought, fuck it, I'm gonna go straight to the gym and let everyone know the big news, because he's like as much as he's like my really good friend, he's like one of my biggest fans as well. So yeah, it was nice just to sort of reveal the news to someone quite close to me as well. So yeah, it was nice, man.
That's awesome. All right, so obviously, a piggyback on that question, you went to the UFC, your first fight, very impressive first round stoppage in which we were beating them up right before the bell rang, and the ref stopped the fight. But what was it like to get in there and then get the first win in the UFC?
It felt normal. It felt natural. It felt like, I think Cage Warriors was a very good platform in terms of getting you ready to fight in big fights and get you ready to feel particular pressures that you're going to feel when you go and fight in the UFC. So it felt just like another fight, really, except you got Bruce Buffer calling out your name as opposed to someone else doing it. So it was really it was really cool in that sense. And then being in front of Dana White. But like I said, it was like, as surreal as it felt, it was like, oh, okay, well, this is this is it. I'm in now. Like this is my chance. This is what I've got to do. And then it just like I said, it just felt like another fight. It felt like normal. I mean, obviously with no crowd and everything, but being in that bigger UFC cage and everything, and finally getting out there, wearing the UFC kit and everything. Yeah, it was. It was a whirlwind experience, but then you let your hands go, you sort of find your range and your timing and stuff like that, and then that's it, you're in, and it's just like it's just normal. Like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how anyone else would feel, but for me it just felt like, okay, cool, this is just another fight. This is what we've been doing all this time. This is what we've been waiting for. And then obviously at the end of the first round, I thought he was going to go into the second. I thought I'd hurt him, but I didn't think, I didn't think like, maybe I'd hurt him enough for him to be stopped. So at that point, I was like, I'll go into my corner ready to go, and then I see my man still on the floor, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I'm ready to go for the second round. Like, what's the hold up? And then the ref goes like, you got to go back to your corner, and the guy just wasn't going back to his corner. And then they opened the door, obviously, to let my corner in, and then he ends up falling
fell backwards.
Yeah, he ends up falling backwards, and then they call off the fight. But I'm like. And then some people were disputing even that decision, but I'm like, well, if the guy's falling backwards and he's not ready to go to, he should at least be conscious enough to go to his corner, and he was a very tough fighter, so but it was amazing to win in that way, to get people talking, and then obviously get the 50 grand bonus as well on top of that, which is the most money I've ever made in my life. So it was it's quite a crazy amazing feeling, all the years of hard work, and then finally being interviewed by all these different people. It was it was a massive high. It was a massive high, like the biggest high I've ever felt in my life. Even when I got home, I was, as much as I got straight back into training and everything, I felt like I was on a high for weeks after that fight. It was a high that I've not really felt in any of my. I mean, the last time I remember feeling that sort of a high was after I won the world title for Cage Warriors. So when I did it this time round, like it was amplified even more, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and then like I said, I mean, it was written on my board, and it was written, and it was like one of my things to give my 50 grand bonus to my parents, and for me to be able to finally do that as well, like I said I would, was another amazing feeling, like of again, just like, I'm so grateful and blessed to be able to make my dream come true. So yeah, that was another massive thing, that I was constantly praying, thanking God, and just like saying like I'm glad that everything's working out the way I wanted it to. So yeah, as much of a high as it was, I knew that there was going to be more challenges ahead. I was just ready to get back in there. As soon as they finished the fight, I'm like, all this feeling, like the way that the UFC treated you, like the UFC PI, like doing all your nutrition, all your physio and this and that, and like all the fight kits and everything, being in front of the media. I'm like, I just want to feel this rush, this insane all this crazy lifestyle that I'm living. I want to do it all over again. I want to be flown out to these places, and I would just want to do it all again. It was like the experience was absolutely amazing. So that was literally my thought process after the fight. So yeah, it was great.
That's beautiful. So you gave the 50K to your parents, huh?
Yeah. Like I knew that was one of the things I wanted to do. I'm like, I'm in this game to be making a lot of money, and I have full confidence in myself that that's what I'm going to go and do. So, throwing out a 50 G's, to your parents who've helped you out for, literally my whole life, and me, pretty much, living in the same household, they'll probably get tired of me, 27 years old, still living at home sort of thing, trying to make it, but yet they're doing everything they can to make you the man that you are, and for my dad training me, for me to be the fighter that I am. So yeah, it was a really nice thing, because like my dad and my stepmom been looking after me, and for me to be able to help them out finally, like almost just to give something back after all this time when you're not able to do any of that, and you're, like I say, you're literally just living under their roof and just creating a mess in the kitchen and stuff like that, as opposed to doing anything productive. So for me to be able to finally do something nice for them was good. But again, it was just, for me, it's like, this is a taste of what's to come for not only them, but for myself. So like, I just, for me, especially in my career, like, you know, you want to help the people that have helped you. I think that gives more gratification and more, that feels so much better than, you know, just, you know, buying. I mean, it's nice to have some flashy stuff. You got to have, you know, have some nice stuff for yourself, but to be able to help your family and loved ones nothing can beat that feeling, I think.
Yeah, that's beautiful story. I'm happy you shared that. So let's move on. So next, let's talk about the fight you had 10 days ago almost versus Michael Jacek. I watched the whole fight. I really cannot believe the judges gave the decision to Michael. He controlled the pace, definitely had the better exchanges. The majority of the MMA media thought you won the fight as well. So what was it like when you heard Bruce Buffer announce that Michael was the winner?
Yeah, do you know what? At the end of the fight, I thought I'd done enough. I definitely thought I'd done enough, but at the same time, I was like, it's a split decision. I mean,
Yep.
I would have thought it would have been, you know, at least like I thought it should have been unanimously to me. So already when he said split decision, I'm like, there's no way that they're going to possibly turn it the other way. It's got to go to me. So, but then as soon as I called it to him, it was just a sense of like, man, like how the hell did I let this even happen? Because, you know, mentally I felt the strongest that I felt in there. I felt I landed the most strike law like that. In as much as it was a loss, you know, it was actually, I felt, my best performance in the octagon. As you know, I've been talking about how I'd wanted to show the best techniques of myself, and I've only shown like 20% of it. But that fight, I showed more of what I'm capable of, and not even to the fullest extent yet. But that was like finally starting to break down the door of, you know, sort of shying away from showing your full skill set. And I finally was able to show more of it, do more crazy techniques, and you know, land different things, like, you know, doing things that I've actually been practicing, like, you know, doing my spinning back kick, my backwards upwards elbow, and you know, my roundhouse kick to the head and stuff like that. So like these different things, I was able to finally like land those things that I wanted to do. So yeah, obviously I felt I'd done enough. Unfortunately, it went the other way. I mean, I looked at the decision, like how the judges scored it, and two of the judges gave him the first round. And I mean, I'm not trying to obviously toot my own horn, but like the judges that gave him the fight, you know, basically robbed me of the first round, because I clearly landed more significant strikes in that round as opposed to, and I had a massive high kick at the end, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you give the man the third round to him, fair play. But I even watched that fight, that last round back. I'm like, okay, but I was landing a load of strikes in that one. That, yeah, he hurt me to the body, but if you're going by that logic, I hurt the guy in the first round and the second round. I rocked him both those rounds. So if you're going by that logic, I should have won those two rounds clearly. But you know, when I looked at it after, it was a massive sense of disappointment, because you know, all that hard work that you put in, you really put your mind to it, and you know, you literally, you shut yourself off from any negative thoughts and any negative feelings towards the fight, especially before the fight and leading into the fight. So then when it goes the other way, and you know, your vision doesn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, it was quite devastating. But at the same time, there was already the thought of, oh yeah, well, I'm just gonna, you know, go back to the gym and correct the errors, and I'll be back. But you know, there are other pressures that go along with it. You know, financially, you know, you got one more fight in your contract and this and that. But at the same time, that just makes me more hungry, and the feeling of, I want to be even more vicious for my next fight. I just feel like it was quite you know, when the judges rob you of you know, money that you feel that you should have been earning, and you know, a victory on your record and stuff like that, when you definitely feel, and most, like, you know, even the commentators, all for, you know, like most of the MMA media, like when it went the other way, and then it's just like, how the hell does it happen? But one thing that I definitely can take from that is that, okay, well, it's my job to finish the fight. I know, you know, people would say, well, you shouldn't have that pressure on yourself to want to. No, but okay, fair enough. If I don't want it to go to the decision and have that happen to me, I've got to go and finish the fight. It was my fault for not going and finishing the fight. So as much as, you know, you can blame the judging and stuff like that and what they're watching, you know, at the end of the day, I have to go and finish fights. So what does that do? That just gives me more motivation, more inspiration to work on it, so that I don't let that happen again, and I go and finish the fight. I have everything needed, all the tools needed to go out and finish that fight. And skills wise, it's there aren't the holes. It's just pushing the pace in certain areas, controlling your energy, figuring out how to do certain things. We've already figured out what we need to change. We're already working on it as we speak. So all I can promise and guarantee is that the next performance will be even more spectacular than this one. I know a lot of people enjoyed the fight. This is one thing that I think I took away that was a bit better, was a bit nicer. Like the fact that everyone was saying, oh, it was a robbery, oh, that was an amazing fight, oh, it was very entertaining. These are things that you want to hear as a fighter. You don't want to hear as a fighter, oh, well, I mean, it wasn't exactly the best fight and, split decision. Like, do you know what I mean? But when people are saying, oh, that was an amazing fight, you actually get more of a following, more people know about you, more people are talking about it. Although obviously, I mean, listen, I was on a massive card, so you're not exactly going to get talked about much when you got freaking, Ngannou and O'Malley and these other big stars fighting. But it just set a path.
Oh, did I lose him? Oh. All right, looked like he disconnected. Man, what a great guy, though. He sounds like such an awesome dude. Great attitude. Even, great stories about his fans. He gave the $50K bonus to his parents. What a class act. I mean, you can't get much better than that. Looked like he's back. Yeah, we got him. There he is.
We're back now, yeah?
We're back. Yep.
I don't know if it was my connection or but yeah, anyways, I can't remember what I was saying now. I completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, it's all good. You were talking about the last fight, but yeah, you have just great attitude about the whole thing. Obviously, almost everybody thought you won that fight, myself included. But yeah, it's on to the next. I bet you just got to work. And
well, this is it.
I'm not going to give you any advice. That's for sure. You.
Well, yeah, I just got to go in there and I got to prove myself more. I feel like even now, like that, some people that may have then been believing in me have stopped. Again, I'm back in the same position. I feel like the chip on my shoulder is what has caused me to go out and prove the haters wrong. What's caused me to go out and do the things that I've been doing, not just and especially in Cage Warriors, but no one ever thought I was going to go to the UFC. And then, when this happens, and no one's ever going to think that I'm going to be able to come back from these 2 losses, or, people are going to think what they think, or maybe I'm not that good and this and that. And this is now me to turn the tables once again. I feel like it's almost like history repeating itself. And it just gives me, like I said, more inspiration to go out and do even more. Because you want all the big time people and all the stars to be talking about you, and when you feel like you're being brushed to the side, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to give them something to talk about in the next one. So it's just back to the drawing board. I don't know how long it's going to be before my next fight, but I'm just staying ready, staying in shape, trying not to eat too many cupcakes at the minute, and yeah, just get ready for whenever the next opportunity arises.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was my next question. I was going to just ask you if you had a target return date or an opponent, but it looks like you touched on that. Anything you wanted to add there?
I mean, if we're being realistic, it will probably be somewhere in July. But again, who knows?
Yep.
I hope that my fight created enough noise to make people want to see me fight again, which would then, hopefully get me fight a little bit, earlier. But I'm hoping earliest July. But if there's any dropouts or pullouts or anything like that, and I feel I'm ready, I'll take that as well. I think Kevin Holland's a great example of someone who just comes in ready to go. So yeah.
All right. So last question, a little fun question I asked every fighter: how they got their nickname. You got a great one, the Baltic Gladiator. So how did that come about?
It's funny. Like I was literally I was going through Instagram. I was asking everyone, "Oh, come on, give me a good nickname." And I've had some horrendous ones. Like I don't know, like honestly, mate, like Mo Money and and stuff like that. I'm like, can you imagine Bruce Buffer even calling that out? Like, what the hell would be going through his mind, like saying stuff like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had some pretty bad ones, like the Incinerator. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I think my name's long enough. But anyways, so I mean, not to say that that's a bad one, but like just some ones that don't really fit me and my personality. And the next thing you know, there's actually a Lithuanian guy who had a who's got like an art company, or he does artwork for fighters. And him being Lithuanian, obviously very patriotic, he decided to do some artwork for me from a picture that I took. And he said the gladiator from the Baltic states or something like that. And I thought, do you know what? That sounds pretty catchy, the Baltic Gladiator, because at one point they said like the Baltic James Bonds, and I thought, yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah and no. But I thought like, do you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, I was like, okay, well, Baltics, like, we'll add something else. What else can we add possibly to that? And then when that artist threw that in there, that's when I was like, okay, do you know what? I asked my dad about it first, and I was like, all right, we're gonna roll with this one. This is what's now gonna stick. We're not turning back now. We're keeping this one for good, and I'm glad I did. So
Yeah, I think it's a great nickname. Definitely better than Mo Money.
Yeah, nah, you're telling me, mate. I honestly, I don't know where the people come up with these things, mate.
All right, so if it's all right with you, I'm just going to ask you your thoughts or who you think is going to win on a couple of big fights coming up. First one is Robert Whitaker versus Kelvin Gaslump. So Whitaker's in here after winning 10 of his last 11. His only loss was to Izzy Adesanya, while Gaslump has lost 3 of his last 4, but 2 good names in Jack Hermanson, Darren Till, and Izzy as well. So what do you think about the main event for next weekend?
I'm definitely leaning towards Whitaker. I mean, I think both are amazing athletes, and clearly Kelvin showed out a really good fight in his last fight against Ian Heinisch. So, and he showed definitely a really high level wrestling game that he's been working on. So, but I think Robert Whitaker, he's fast, he's crafty, he's also got the wrestling as well to go along with it. I just think he's going to be a bit too fast, and his footwork's just going to be too good for Kelvin.
All right, cool. So UFC 261 is fastly approaching the weekend after, and we got a rematch: Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal. Do you think Masvidal has a shot in a rematch, another 5-round fight? What do you think about it?
I mean, obviously, I know he had a short notice approach last time, so he wasn't able to work. But he was still in the gym. Obviously, he wouldn't have took that fight if he didn't think that he was ready to take a fight of that magnitude. So Usman's been looking amazing. Obviously, we've seen him get caught with one shot, but you just see his toughness and then obviously his wrestling is next level. I don't think many people can stop his wrestling. So still, I think Kamaru Usman will maintain the belt, even though I am a big fan of Jorge Masvidal also.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with both points. I'm a fan of Masvidal as well, but I think Usman gets it done again. So one last one from UFC 261 as well. Bullet Valentina Shivchenko versus Jessica Andraj. Obviously, Valentina has only lost to Amanda Nunes since 2010. She's a beast, but this is a very interesting matchup as another stand-up artist, Andraj, enters this off of a knockout win on body shot to Caitlin Chukagian. So she did lose to Rose Namajunas the fight before, but it was a very good fight for both of them. What do you think about these two ladies?
Yeah, I would definitely give it to Shivchenko. I mean, they're both amazing fighters. Andraj is very powerful. When she gets in close and she lands her big shots, she's very dangerous. Shivchenko's got amazing footwork. She's got a whole array of strikes as well, and got good wrestling also. So I think Shivchenko, just her overall skill set, I think will just overwhelm Andraj, and obviously being the taller fighter, I think she's got longer reach as well.
Yep,
I think that would definitely play a factor. So I'm going to give it to her.
All right, well, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you like to plug? Can you let our followers know where they could find you?
Yes. Firstly, I want to say, obviously, thank you for having me on the show and everything. I really appreciate it. I had a really good time chatting to you. On Twitter, I'm Baltic Gladiator, so at Baltic Gladiator, and on Instagram, it's at MODYB24. And that's pretty much it.
All right, thanks again, Modestas. We'll definitely be rooting for your future. Again, I am sponsored by Hot Sauce, Sauce Bay Hot Sauce. So if you're into hot sauce, send me your address or a location. I can send you some couple bottles, and I'll send them out to you for free, just as a thank you for coming on the show.
Wicked. Thank you so much, mate. Definitely looking forward to trying out the hot sauce. And man, I appreciate it, and all the best to you and everything in the future.
Appreciate it. So another week, another great guest. Shout out. Thank you again to Modestas. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you aren't, go follow both of us on social media. But that's it. We're out of here. See you guys. See you guys next week. Peace.